I'm here today with Mold Making Technologies 2020 Leadtime Leader Award winner, Precise Tooling Solutions out of Columbus, Indiana. And I am speaking with the CEO and owner of Precise, Don DeMullen, and we're going to find out a little bit more about this winning shop. So Don, hello, first of all.
Good morning. How are you?
Good, very well. So let's get into it. So who is Precise Tooling Solutions?
Yeah, so we're a 33-year-old specialty manufacturer based in Columbus, Indiana. We've got 35 people and about 30,000 square foot of manufacturing space. We actually have 4 businesses that make up the company. We make new plastic injection molding tools. We do some die sets along with that. We have a productivity business that does repair and engineering changes. We then use our CNC equipment to do big CNC projects. And then lastly, we have an ergonomic workstation business that we purchased about 4 years ago. So we actually are a multifaceted specialty manufacturer.
Diversified.
Yes.
That's what you sound like to me.
Yes.
So what would you say is Precise's company philosophy, your vision, your mission statement?
Yeah, so the mission statement is really pretty simple, and it's one we adopted, almost 7 years ago when I bought the company, and it's that we'll build on a talented team, we'll use cutting edge technologies and superior efficiencies to deliver the highest quality products to delight our customers while continually increasing profitability.
So I know doing the feature story with you guys and talking to you over the past few months, you have this 3-pillar value proposition that kind of defines the company. Can you review that for us?
Sure. We stay focused on really 3 things: world-class craftsmanship, on-time delivery, and a fair price. And we do that with every project and with every customer day in and day out.
So can you break down for us again the 4 business units and how they work together within Precise?
Yeah, so when I bought the company 7 years ago, we were 95% new molds and 90% automotive. And I was concerned that was, quite honestly, too many eggs in one basket. And given the crisis that had just happened at that time, thought it was too much of a risky portfolio. So over the kind of last 7 years, we've been diversifying our business, to your point. And today, new tooling is just north of 50% of our business, and automotive is just north of 50% of our business. So we believe that the actions that we've taken overall in our business have positioned us well to ride out any economic challenges that we've had. Now, none of us, I think, anticipated a pandemic as an economic challenge. But we certainly diversified our business away from baseline automotive, which we think is a good thing. Now, at the same time, we've specialized our work inside of automotive to where we're really focused on LED headlights and taillights. And that specialty, I think, gives us an advantage.
When you go back to the crisis, it really doesn't matter what the crisis is. The fact that you are a shop that is prepared for any kind of unexpected disruption is what's key. So that diversified model, I think, is key no matter what's going on in the country or the world.
And that's why we've focused on really all 4 of the businesses at one time. You know, if you break down the businesses that we have, and we doubled down in our expertise on LED lighting, and today do business with a market share of about 75% of the tier 1s that make LED lighting. So that's a pretty big piece for us. We've invested in really high-end equipment to do that, and to maintain that specialty and to stay ahead of the curve. So we made significant investments there. The other business is that service business that we have, which is really, we call it productivity improvements, but include everything from engineering changes to preventative maintenance and anything else that goes along with that. And that business has tripled in size, I guess, in the 7 years that we've had it, or I guess 6 years since we really doubled down on it. And we've got a dedicated team, and I tell our customers we're here 24/7 for them. Now, that doesn't mean that if they call us Saturday at 2 o'clock in the afternoon that somebody's going to answer the phone. But what it does mean is if a customer calls us on a Wednesday and says, hey, I just had a tool crash, I need to have it back on Monday, and we'll work the weekend for them. We've then taken and really built the CNC part of our business. Again, it's not a production shop from a CNC standpoint. It's much more like the mold business in that we're doing one-offs. But we've taken that business and used our technology that we bought for the mold business, the tooling business, and applied that to the CNC business. So we've got a lot of big customers that have used us a lot because of our CNC technology. We bought a big 5-axis boring mill about 3 years ago that gives us 10-foot by 12-foot capabilities, and that's something most tooling shops don't have. Then on top of that, we added a fourth leg to our platform about 2.5 or 3 years ago when we bought the Ergo Station line, the Ergo Smart line of workstations and machine pieces. And that's an ergonomic product that raises and lowers by 12 inches. So if your first shift worker is 5'6" and your second shift worker is 6'5", you've got the ability to have a workstation that is right there for them. And that's a business, most shops our size don't have a branded product. And that is our branded product, and we feel really good about that. We're having a record year this year, even with the pandemic. And I think as social distancing becomes more and more the norm inside of manufacturing plants, ergonomics and that will even help more. And our Ergo Smart line is a perfect product for that.
So, of course, this award is called Lead Time Leader. So let's talk about your lead times and what do you believe is the key to Precise's lead times, on-time delivery, and your customer referral rates?
Yeah, great question. We really have stayed very focused about meeting our customers' requirements, and I use the word customer delight. It's really about making sure that the customer is happy with us every single day. And when I started to buy this business, I did the first round of market research to find out what the customer thought about Precise. And quite honestly, the results were kind of middle of the road, right? As you would expect with many machine shops, specialty manufacturers, customers complained about on-time delivery. They complained about lack of customer focus and things like that. So we went about fixing that. And we did that via a couple of different ways. The first was to get an ERP system in, and we did that inside of the first 6 months that I was here. And we installed the ShopTex E2 system, and that really got us on a common platform. I think so many shops, especially 7 or 8 years ago, were in Excel hell and ran their business off of spreadsheets, and we did that here, and I just wasn't comfortable with that. So we put the ERP system in, and immediately we used the ERP system to get our ISO certification. Not because any customer had asked for ISO certification, but because I wanted a common language that we could use across the shop in making sure we were delighting our customers every day. So to your question, sorry for the long answer, but to your question, the two things that have really driven what customers I think appreciate most about us is we're always on time, north of 98% on time, which says out of 1,500 projects last year, we were late on 20. So, that's a pretty dang good track record.
You got that right.
Yeah, and then we use that ERP system and our quality to make sure that the craftsmanship that the customer gets is always perfect. We're all humans, and something's going to get out that doesn't please the customer day in or day out. But the fact of the matter is, we're very focused on it. We measure it constantly. We measure our cost of quality. We know exactly how much quality is affecting our financials each month. And so we're very laser focused on that throughout the organization. I think what that does is it gives our customer a much better product, and one that they can be proud of and that they know they can come back for and get every day.
Okay, Don, let's talk a little bit about Precise's unique IT strategy.
Well, thanks. That's a great question. And, with anything comes an investment, and we've made an investment in our overall IT strategies. As I mentioned earlier, we put E2 in, and this year just made a decision to take E2 to the cloud. As we've thought about our overall IT strategy, we've really decided that we're going to take our business to the cloud, just so that we don't have a power outage and lose a server or something like to that effect. So we've taken most of our major processes to the cloud right now, including data storage. And that means our E2, our contact product, which is called HubSpot, that we use for maintaining our customer database and all our communications to customers, that's in the cloud now. We've taken all our email and PowerPoint and data services into the cloud. And so we've really significantly reduced the servers that we have here in the building, and have done that purposely so that we're better protecting our customers' data long term.
All right, let's switch a little bit to your industry involvement, because I know you're very active on the American Mold Builders Association within that group. So let's talk about that. And I want you to get into the whole tariff situation too. I think it's really important for this industry, and kind of it shows also, in terms of being a lead time leader, how important it is, and that you can make a difference if you get involved.
Well, thanks for that question. I have a personal belief that, in order to be successful, you've got to surround yourself with really smart people. So, I've tried to do that with my leadership team. And I thought that I could help our business and myself by getting involved with the American Mold Builders Association. I think most of your viewers know Troy Nix, and Troy runs the association for us, and is not only a dynamic leader, but the one that truly believes that we're stronger together than competing against each other. And so after going to a couple of AMBA conventions, I mentioned to Troy that, if someday, if you ever had a need, I'd be happy to get more involved. So, the next year, Troy called and said, "Hey, would you be on the board?" And I wholeheartedly agreed. And it's been a really good experience for me personally, in that I learned so much from the other shop owners that are part of the board. It's interesting. I come from a little bit of different background. I'm not a tool maker. I tell folks, I can look out my office window and look at the manufacturing floor, and unfortunately, I don't know how to turn on a single machine out there. And that's a very different mentality, if you will, than most of the other shop owners. So I'm always a sponge when I go to those meetings, trying to learn as much about how they grew up in the business and how they run their business, versus me not knowing anything and how I run mine.
Yeah, I think that would make you're a fresh perspective into mold making. So I think that's a unique approach in terms of leadership. So that's one of those things that stood out to me when reviewing all the forms, was that aspect of the background of the ownership. So let's talk a little bit about the most important question, which is, how do you feel about winning the award? What does it mean to you personally and to the team?
Yeah, no, thank you. And first of all, to you and your entire organization, and the judges and everybody that spent hours doing this and doing it every year, we couldn't be more delighted. To be recognized by peers in the industry as having a platform that is worth learning about and talking about to your readers is just a delight. I mean, my team is super excited about it. And we just feel really honored. It's for us, it's kind of like the Super Bowl, if you will, or the World Series or whatever
I love it.
you want, and it really is an extraordinary proof that some of the changes and some of the strategic points that we've implemented and executed in our business are important for the industry, and that we can have some additive view to those that read your publications and interact with your videos, and we're happy to do that. And I always tell people my door's always open. If you feel like there's something that you might be able to learn from us, we're happy to have that conversation and share anything, because we as an industry are only as strong as all of us collectively together. And I think we proved that during the tariff discussion and our ability to strike back and make sure that the powers that be in Washington really understood the full issue.
I don't think we talked about that enough. Can you talk a little bit about that process within the AMBA?
Yeah, so happy to. We were, I think, as an industry, we're delighted when President Trump put tariffs on Chinese tools back in December of 2017.
Yeah.
So jump forward, and we had in 18 our best year ever, and the industry had some of the best year they'd ever had, because all of a sudden our price compared to our Chinese competitors got 25% closer. Well, what happened was a number of plastic injection molders across the country said that they went to the federal departments and said, "Hey, look, we can't compete buying U.S. molds, A, because there's not enough capacity, and B, because they don't have the skill set." And all of a sudden, without the mold making community didn't have any representation in Washington at that point in time. So all of a sudden, lo and behold, tariffs were taken off in December of 2018 on tools. And I think many in the industry had their worst year in a long, long time, because all of a sudden China had this 30-40% advantage on us every day. So with the help of Lori Harbour and her team, with the help of a lobbying firm in Washington, D.C., and the blessing of the American Mold Builders Association led by Troy Nix, we were able to get a coalition together and really help the Federal Trade Commission and others understand that the mold making industry in the United States was alive and well. Not only did we have the capacity, but we had the know-how and the craftsmen to compete with China every day. And lo and behold, on I think December 22nd of 2019, tariffs were put back on tools across from all China imports. And that's done an amazing thing for not only our business, but I think all of the industry. I'm also, really pleased that Congressman Greg Pence, who's the vice president's brother, helped us immensely in that effort. So Troy and I went to see him and his team early in the process with Lori Harbour's data that she had developed. And they were very supportive of helping a local shop, in this case, a couple local shops. And the congressman got behind it, and we felt extremely pleased with his effort. I think he leveraged his expertise and helped get our message heard. And with that, the tariffs are back on, and it sounds like the president's very committed to keeping the tariffs in place, which I think is good for American manufacturing through and through.
It is kind of funny, and not funny, haha, that then the COVID crisis hit. But the positive of all this, I believe, is that there is this light shining on manufacturing in the US, and specifically mold manufacturing. And what the shops, whether you're involved in tooling projects for a specific ventilator component or the masks or the shields or whatever it is, what the shops are accomplishing. It's showing the world that a US manufacturer, a mold manufacturer, can do it. We have the skill, we can figure out how to get it done pretty darn quickly. So all those arguments against using a shop like that, I think we're kind of proving that that's not the case. So there's a, what is it? What do you say? There's a silver lining, right, to the cloud. That's
I would wholeheartedly agree with you. And I am, as I've read some of your stories recently, I am just in awe of some of the work that our colleagues across the country have done. I mean, to be able to turn around, I read a story that I think you wrote, somebody turned around a tool in 5 days to help a medical manufacturer. And I think you're dead on. I truly believe that this pandemic and the way that global supply chains have just been decimated, that this is going to cause CEOs across the country to re-examine where they manufacture parts. And I think that's good for American manufacturers as a whole. I think it'll be good for my company. I think it'll be good for the industry, and we'll see a resurgence of manufacturing in America.
On a side note, I know you told me, Don, that you weren't working specifically on projects related to a product to fight the virus. But Precise has been impacted by the whole supply chain disruption. So you've been getting work, correct me if I'm wrong, from other customers that their work was it overseas and they were reshoring it because they couldn't get the molds done. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, no, I think that you're dead on. I mean, we haven't specifically had any COVID-related medical device products that have popped into our shop. It's mainly just because of the customers that we do business with on a regular basis. So I think those COVID-related issues went to shops that they had good knowledge with and probably had that trust. But I will tell you that we're sitting on the largest quote book that we've had in, 4 years or so. And the vast majority of those quotes that are in the system are because companies are saying, I just can't go to China anymore. I just can't risk a project launch that my customers are expecting by taking a tool to China, not knowing whether the COVID outbreak is going to break out again and not knowing whether they're going to be shut down for another 8 or 10 weeks, when I know my American mold builders are working on a day-to-day basis. So we feel very good about that. Unfortunately, we're in a situation right now where because many of our customers aren't working, there's nobody at the office to hit the place a PO button. So we're busy for the next month or so, but then it gets pretty slow after that. Hopefully we'll start reopening the country in a safe and effective way. And as we do that, people can get back to work and hopefully those POs will start flowing.
Well, thank you, Don, for that conversation. Mold Making Technology is going to be sharing a lot more information to dig a little deeper on Precise Tooling Solutions as our 2020 Lead Time leaders. So everybody check out moldmakingtechnology.com.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate everything that you've done for not only Precise Tooling Solutions, but the industry as a whole.